Hi guys. Today I'm going to be recording a pretty interesting video. I'm going to be recording the results of a Pauper Rotisserie Draft. So in a Rotisserie Draft, basically you can pick any card that no one else has picked, and that card can be literally any card in the format. So yeah, so instead of in a normal draft where you're opening a pack of 50 cards and picking the card from the pack, the entire format's open. Any single card that you can think of, as long as it's not been picked, you can pick it. Basically, we did this draft using a excellent, really amazing bot made by pproteus, who also does a lot of the challenge results, or used to. The bot's amazing. And in terms of the people who are participating in this draft, we got a lot of people who have a lot of experience in Pauper. I'm pretty sure everyone here has 5 out of league, 5 out of many leagues, and a lot of these people have top 8s and challenges and stuff like that. Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, we got Methodical here, who probably has the best tournament results in Pauper challenges of anyone. So yeah, it's a pretty experienced group of people. A lot of brewers here as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into the draft. So there's way too many picks to go over all of them. So I'll just kind of go over some mainly my picks, but also I'll briefly talk about what I see from other players. Starting out, which is kind of one of the more interesting parts, we got Chenjesu drafting Moldrifter. Moldrifter is probably the best value card, and yeah, definitely makes sense as a first pick. I'll go over these first 2 picks in more detail, and I'll probably just go quickly over the rest. Then we got Ironic Gentleman drafting Ephemerate. This is one of the new cards, but it's really powerful. Basically, you can kind of think of it as like if kind of a creature has like a spell effect attached to it, you kind of get double effect of that spell, plus potentially you can save the creature. Plus, it has excellent synergy with cards like Archaeomancer and Mnemonic Vault, so I think also a good early pick. Then we got Methodical going Lightning Bolt. This is a really good flexible choice. You can go into Red Deck Wins or Burn, but you can also use this as like in more mid-range or even controlling matchups or controlling decks, so good choice here. Then we got Lynx picking Korean Ranger. This can either lead into Stompy or into Elves. We'll see later that Lynx went to Elves. Then we got Steel Osprey picking Core Skyfisher. This kind of leads into pretty good tokenish strategies or red-white, like the Boros decks you see nowadays. Frusile going Deep Analysis. This is probably the best blue draw spell in the format. Definitely powerful card. And they got Draft going Tortured Existence. Definitely kind of an interesting first pick. This is a very niche card that can potentially do some powerful things. Okay, so then it's me. So in terms of by the way, for the ordering, I'm the last drafter. But the way the draft works is it kind of goes in the snake. So I get picks 8 and 9, and picks this would be 20. Wait. Yeah, I can pick 24th and 25th. So yeah, it kind of goes like a snake. So yeah. Okay, so basically the thing I saw here was, okay, just kind of give some, I guess, a little bit of context. I kind of wanted to go into this drafting some sort of like blue-red blitz-ish deck. That's kind of my hope. But of course, kind of as the 8 seed, you kind of have to draft according to what everyone else is doing. So in this case, I saw lots of people going blue, like Ephemerate. If you draft Ephemerate, you're basically going blue as well. So 2 blue drafters here, Methodical on Lightning Bolt, so red is kind of getting cut off. Green is getting cut off, white is also getting cut off. Yet another blue drafter. And then black, I kind of see Tortured Existence. That's kind of a... Tortured Existence kind of leads itself to a very kind of niche strategy. You're drafting cards that have a lot of graveyard synergy, and maybe don't quite impact like a lot of, like, for example, mono black controls like core, so like Pestilence, Cheering Rats, a lot of the removal cells. So I kind of felt like black was still open despite draft literally picking Torture Existence right before me. And also I felt the Pestilence is one of the more powerful cards in the format. Definitely a card that's worth early picking. So I picked Pestilence. And then I had this idea that I kind of wanted to go black-white. Also, I just want to keep my options open. Perfect Prism also leads into lots of stuff as well. It's just a flexible card. and I could commit more into black, but I felt like Prophetic Prism is a card that everyone's going to want to fight for anyways. In our chat, I actually turns out that lots of people were going to go after Prophetic Prism, including Nautical and Steel. They both were potentially eyeing that, so definitely an early pick. So I kind of picked it up here. Then kind of going further down the line, these picks aren't settled yet, so so draft further going down the graveyard strategy. Drafting Grim Harvest is the second engine card for graveyard strategy, so definitely kind of like doubling down the synergy there. Freestyle getting a compulsive research, probably the second best draw spell, maybe, but definitely a really good draw spell here. Steel Osprey further going to white. Lynx going now into elves further, drafting lead. So this kind of confirms that he's going into elves instead of Stompy. Methodical taking Faithless Looting, still right here, he can kind of go anything. Faithless Looting is like a powerful card. Lots of ways that you can abuse it. And also it's just a good value card because you can discard lands to it. Alright, gentlemen, going into Archaeomancer and Mnemonic Wall. And the person that made an interesting switch here is Chenjesu. So starting out with Drifter, you kind of would expect him to kind of go into more blue cards, but instead he took the two best white token generators, so Battle Screech and Triplicate Spirits. So switching from blue into white, which is kind of interesting, and definitely impacted a lot of, I don't know how much it impacted other people, but definitely impacted my choices, so which I'll get into. So yeah, everyone's kind of doubling down. Methodical kind of, nothing too committing here. An early Ash Barons, this is a good fixing, so definitely goes early. Draft taking my Grim Angler. Not that I really wanted it necessarily. But yeah, he took it. So here I kind of had an interesting choice. So I saw that basically what happened is that I saw that Chenjesu basically kind of exited blue, and so and also no one took Ghostly Flicker, which is by itself a really powerful card. So I kind of decided that I should take this Ghostly Flicker, even though that would kind of potentially put me in conflict with like the three other blue drafters. But Freestyle, by picking heavy early card draw, I guess like I kind of had this inclination that he wasn't going down a Ghostly Flicker plan. So that would just be around Gentleman, and I think blue's really deep enough to support two drafters. Also, I think the Ephemerate Ghostly Flicker strategy, like if he gets all the cards, I think that's probably the best strategy in the format. So I guess Ghostly Flicker is a powerful card just in general, and taking it also kind of I kind of maybe like stop him from just getting the best deck maybe. So I took it here. The other card I took is Seeker, which is also kind of interesting because there's also three other white drafters. So taking Seeker kind of would fight. Taking Seeker kind of now fights with three other white drafters. Definitely kind of a interesting spot to be in, fighting with everyone. But I think Seeker is so good. Well, first of all, obviously it's really good with Pestilence. Maybe not really good, but the life gain is nice. But Seeker is like an incredible tempo card. If you can pump it up twice and then you're hitting for 4, healing 4, that's basically, your hitting as hard is basically it's like four other 2-drops, right? Because assuming 2 drops is just a 2/2, you're dealing 4 damage, healing 4 damage, that's a swing of 8. So it's Seeker is a super good tempo card, and with Ghostly Flicker and Pestilence, I'm definitely going to more grindy deck. And so having a good 2-drop, a really good 2-drop to kind of swing back the tempo, I thought was pretty good. The colors is kind of awkward, but I took Prophetic Prism, and I expect that, I expected at this point that my Ghostly Flicker was mainly going to be a splash, or either Seeker was going to be a splash or something like that. So I wasn't too worried about the colors yet. So yeah, going down, not much being revealed yet. So we see Freestyle going, kind of revealing that he's Madness. It's definitely interesting strategy. Giraffe has obviously already shown his Graveyard Synergy stuff. Sea Osprey taking early Reaping the Graves. This would have been a good card for me, but he took it early. Methodical with the Rift Ball choice, kind of showing that he's now going to aggressive decks, which is definitely kind of interesting. But he has Red Alt himself, so seems like a good choice. Jinjatsu getting some more tokeny cards, yeah. And then for me, seeing that Evolving Wilds was picked early, and because I'm a 3-color deck, I felt forced in taking Terramorphic Expanse, and then followed up with Augur Bolus. Again, just a very good 2-drop value, good good body. Just kind of like just a super flexible card that also gets on the board early. So yeah, I think this card is very good. Obviously. So yeah, okay. So just kind of quickly go over what everyone else is doing. Some more graveyard cards. More Madness cards. Definitely reveal that he's Madness at this point. Early Pyro. Definitely Methodical's definitely doubling down on like burn-ish decks. Around Gentleman showing that he's going to red, which is really good because that means that we kind of don't fight each other. We already fight each other over both white and blue, but now he's going to red, and then that gives me with a lot of the black removal spells, which is good. Black removal spells are way worse than red, just because red removal spells are way cheaper. So also probably better for him to go into red. Chenjutsu with a really good Rain of Revelation pick. This is a really good card. It's a 4-mana instant draw 3, discard 1. It's a new card, so it hasn't really seen a lot of play yet, but really powerful card. So yeah, by the time it got back to me, I saw that the cantrips weren't taken yet, and I just taken Augur Bolus. I also have Seeker, so early cantrips are really good. So yeah, I'm just gonna go further quickly down my picks. Well, I'll briefly touch on some notes of what I saw other people drafting. Yeah, so here I knew I wanted a lot of early cheap cards because I felt like my core was very value based already, and it's easy to get a lot of value cards. There's just a lot of value cards in general, but especially in black, there's not a lot of cheap interaction. So I knew that I needed to try to get some of those. So I focused on I took Deceiver early, I took Night's Whisper early, which is a really good black draw spell. I took Snuff Out, free removal spell. And right here, with my Lonely Simbar pick, I was thinking that I wanted to get Ghastly Demise, but I was a little bit worried about graveyard count. So I took a Lonely Sandbar, which also is just good at like flood protection. So I took this Lonely Sandbar to kind of hedge for a potential Ghastly Demise pick. Then took Guardian of the Guild pack, just good card, really hard to stop. Combos with Pestilence, also just a good card on its own. And I was actually already thinking of ninjas at this point. Basically, what I saw was that draft was going into just green-black, so kind of just like Tordex stuff. Which so he's not taking a lot of the end of the battlefield creatures. Fruitstyle obviously doesn't really conflict with me a whole lot. Steel Osprey doesn't conflict with me a whole lot. He's going to kind of like red-white tokens. Lynx obviously just elves. Methodical, burn. Our gentleman here with a lot of counter spells suggests to me that he's going to more Drago type strategy. So again, that kind of leaves like a lot of the enter the battlefield effects to me. And changes going to tokens. So I felt at this point that I could exploit a lot of the enter the battlefield effects, both with Flicker and also with Ninja. So yeah, at this point I was eyeing for ninjas already. So I took Guardian of the Guild pack, potentially set it, which also helps Ninja. Cloud Conceer, Salvager Secrets, these are both, enter the battlefield effects, both excellent with Ninja. Took Echoing Decay, more cheap interaction. Here, one thing that unfortunately happened is that Steel Osprey took my Akiba Gang Shinobi, which would have been the second Ninja. Ninja Deep Hours is better for me, of course, but yeah, he took it for his, I guess at this point, Mardu deck. Kind of like a Mardu Valley deck. So, yeah, fortunately that I couldn't get that, but I still got my Ninja Deep Hours, which is better for me anyways, I think. So I'm still doing fine. Yeah, I took Aven Riftwatcher, another good creature to bounce, has evasion. Also, flying is nice, can block a lot of like tokens. Yeah, took an early Hydroblast here. A little bit worried about Methodical's deck. Also, I was Iron Gentleman was picking up a lot of red removal, so I felt like picking early Hydroblast could potentially act like a kind of a good I wanted to pick Dispel, but a lot of Ironic Gentleman's removal was non-instant, so I took Hydroblast instead. Okay, finally going with my Ghastly Demise pick that I set up earlier. Chicken Rats, more battlefield effects, Serum Visions, more cantrips. Goes well with Seeker, Augur. Yeah, and here I took a pretty high value card, Sell Beyond Reality. I was kind of worried that Ironic Gentleman might go after it. And also, I didn't feel like I had any picks that was super contested. But this is a card that says 5 mana. You can exile a card as well, exile an opponent's creature as well as uh, like flicker one of your own creatures. So it's kind of infinite removal with my Salvageur's Secrets, which if you don't know, Salvageur's Secrets is basically a copy of Arcane Mancer or Pneumatic Wall. So yeah, took my really high value card here. Then took some more fixing. I'm mainly taking blue-white fixing because I want to take a lot of swamps for stuff out. So that means that I want to take the fixing for the other colors. Okay, here actually Draft took well, I don't want to say took my Friction Rager, but he took a Friction Rager, and luckily I actually was counting my cards, and I didn't think that I could play Friction Rager, and I preferred Dust Legion Zealot anyways because it's just cheaper. So yeah, I managed to pick up Dust Legion Zealot, but yeah, I was definitely kind of afraid that he would snipe it, and they pick up an Earth. So this is another good tempo card. You know, you play 1 mana, just get back a 3-drop, and that 3-drop, like if it's a Seeker, it's already like high tempo. So definitely good card. Really happy got an Unearth. Picked up a Lone Missionary for burn. You really don't get a lot of sideboard slots. You get so the cards you have to play 40 cards in your deck, and you have to draft a lot of lands. So for me, that was I was gonna have like 33 cards main deck approximately, which left 12 cards for sideboard, which really isn't a lot. But yeah, I've already drafted a Hydroblast, and here picking up a Lone Missionary. Just the enter to battlefield effects is a little bit too good. So yeah, taking it here. This is not going to be a main deck card. But Dimir Guildmage is a main deck card. You know, it's a 2-drop. It's a really good long game effect. So I felt that, I like this card as a good early, maybe not good early, but like serviceable early and great late. Yeah, so I took that here. Some more sideboard cards, Ration Cleric. I took some Shrivels and Nauseas because for elves and tokens. I took Obsidian Acolyte because I thought that was the best way for me to beat Giraffe. All the good graveyard hate has been taken at this point. So, that Relic, Progenitus, Nihil Spellbomb, even sorry, what's it called? Even Fear Macabre was taken early. So I felt like there wasn't really good graveyard hate. Like I can take Enchantment, but then he has Grim Harvest. So I decided to go on a separate route and just take Obsidian Acolyte. And so yeah, instead of going after his graveyard, my plan was to just blank all his creatures and yeah, try to beat him that way. So yeah, took up this pick to try to beat Giraffe. Then I think the way I was kind of thinking was that my main deck would be fairly just good the way it is against a lot of these archetypes. So it'd be fairly good against Fruitile, who was on Madness deck, and Steel Osprey, who was on basically Mardu tokens, or sorry, not tokens, Mardu kind of like mid-range value, kind of like the Boris decks in Pauper, and kind of good against Chen Zexu's token deck. So yeah, I was thinking my deck was kind of good against those decks already. So the way it can gain advantage was to kind of target decks that kind of like there's a way to greatly improve my deck against. So that would be like Methonical's burn deck or Ironic Gentleman's like heavy control deck. So yeah, so I took tokens. Shrivels, Nausea are good against tokens and elves. So yeah, so here I started taking a bunch of big value cards. I took a Moan of the Unhallowed. It's like a flashback double tokens, so it's like 8 tokens. I think definitely quite good against control. So Manipulation, this is a card for the main deck. I just left it here because, no one else is drafting blue-black, so I felt safe taking it really late. I took a Murder. At this point, other people have taken Doomblade, and of course I won Doomblade, but I didn't get it, so I just took Murder instead. Also can kill a Gurmag. But yeah, just kind of like cyber removal. This is not going to make the main deck. Logic Knot is going to make the main deck. I'm actually kind of glad that I found this before the draft ended. Obviously, Counterspell was taken very early. Counterspell is a high pick. So I still snagged basically kind of a similar card to Counterspell. So definitely going to make the main deck. I'm taking some more value. So First Spear, Gargantua, and Gristle Slave Driver. These are both unearthed value cards. So they both they're good cards face up, and then they can unearth for extra value. So definitely extra cards against kind of like a more control-y, grindy matchup. Moment of Craving, just extra removal. Again, this also has a little bit of life gain, so it's like a little bit doubly as good against Burn. Agni Warp is a card that I meant for the main deck. Waited all this time because I was sure no one's going to take it. And then 2 lands, as per Panorama and Dispel Backwater, because again, I was sure no one was going to take these lands, so I left them for the very end. And then I took a Negate in the end for good measure. I don't really know why I took it, but yep. So yeah, in terms of the deck, here's my final build. So 40 cards. Definitely kind of low curve here, which was definitely something I tried to do on purpose. I'm only playing 14 lands, which kind of goes along the low curve. But so 14 lands is kind of equivalent to a 21 land deck. And then I have cantrips to further help it. So hopefully my mana will be okay. My curve is low, but I also do have things that can take advantage of a lot of mana. So I have Pestilence, which can take advantage of mana. Ghostly Flicker, as well as Dimir Guildmage. So these can all take advantage of a lot of mana. So I think 21 might be on the low side, but my curve is so low that I think it's okay. So yeah, this is kind of like just blue-black mid-range deck. I have a few counters, though. I think that in general, I'll kind of prefer to kill stuff instead of counter stuff. There's not that many Moltres lying around. Like the value creatures in the Rotisserie Draft are a lot less powerful than the value creatures in Pauper, because everyone just has multiple copies of Moltres and of course Sky Creatures and stuff, but that doesn't appear here. So I felt like the removal plan is going to be more liable. Still just have a few counters just as a catch-all. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this deck. I feel pretty good about it. I think I have a deck that kind of is hard to hate out. It's just kind of mid-range. It's kind of like it dabbles a little bit in everything. But it's really powerful, has a really low curve. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Yeah, and then I have the sideboard cards I mentioned. And sideboarding some lands in case I want to adjust my mana base against certain decks. Yeah, I'll be playing this deck against. I'll be trying to play my deck against everyone. Yeah, and I'll record those videos. So, all right.